My name is Sanaya.
My name is Agastya.
And today I will tell you guys the first story from our Chanakya series from the book Katha Chanakya written by Radhakrishnan Pillai.
But what is the name of the story?
The story we will do today is from part 1, Chanakya the Teacher. And the story's name is Of Commitments and Self-Discipline.
Okay. But Sanaya, who is Chanakya? Is he real or is he just an imaginary character?
That's a very good question, Agastya. Before we start the story, let's first try and understand Chanakya. Chanakya's introduction is from the book Chanakya Niti, written by the same author, Radhakrishnan Pillai.
Okay.
This great thinker, philosopher, statesman, and political strategist lived in the 4th century BC and led a life that is worth studying. He was known by 3 names, Vishnugupta, Chanakya, and Kautilya. It is said that he was born with a full set of teeth and that there was a prophecy which predicted that he will rule the country without occupying the seat of power. That is exactly what happened as his life unfolded. His father was Chanak, who was a teacher of Rajniti or political science. Chanak used to advise Dhananand, the king of Magadha. However, Dhananand was corrupt and people were unhappy with his leadership. Chanak went on to create a public awakening for which Dhananand murdered him. Chanakya, then only a small boy, had to run away from Magadha to save his life. He reached Takshashila, and in Takshashila, not only did he get a chance to survive, but he continued his studies at the famous university. Chanakya was a brilliant student, and he soon became a teacher of political science, just like his father. But destiny had other larger plans for him. One day, he returned to Magadha and Patliputra, its capital, and became his playground. He soon challenged Dhananand and dethroned him. He started training many young students in political science and leadership. He made one of his brightest students, Chandragupta Maurya, the king of Magadha. Chanakya also defeated Alexander the Great, who was on his way to conquer the world. Later, Chanakya brought together all the 16 regional kingdoms of India under one central government and thus established Akhanda Bharat, United India, and made Chandragupta its emperor. However, Chanakya was a teacher at his core. He wanted to pass on his wisdom and experiences to the next generation. He, therefore, wrote his magnum opus, Kautilya's Arthashastra, one of the greatest books ever written on leadership and good governance. The Arthashastra has 6,000 sutras or formulas based on which he guided Chandragupta on how to govern well. This book is still studied by scholars across the globe, and our generation still derives guidance and inspiration from it. Chanakya wrote the Arthashastra for kings and leaders. But what about the common man? Why would a teacher neglect the masses? He didn't. He wanted to guide the common man too. Therefore, it is said that while the Arthashastra with its 6,000 sutras was meant for kings, he wrote another book, Chanakya Niti, for the common man. This is a brief history of who Chanakya was.
Oh, he seems like a very knowledgeable and great person. I would love to know more about him.
No problem, Agastya. That is why we are starting our Chanakya series. In this series, we will learn more about his life through stories. These stories are based on true incidents that happened in Chanakya's life.
Okay, we will start with our first story.
Chapter 1 of Commitments and Self-Discipline. Acharya Niti. How often have you taken an oath and broken it? New Year resolution is a common example. No matter what it is, losing weight, waking up early, finishing a project, or starting a new one. We start with much enthusiasm, but then lose track. We either become lethargic or forget our goal. It is not important to start projects. It is important to complete them. The only real problem then is lack of commitment. Chanakya was a committed and disciplined person. His oath of dethroning the arrogant Dhananand was comparable in the determination to the Bhishma Pratigya, an oath taken by Bhishma in the Mahabharata, which he honored till his death. Acharya Katha. Kings were often educated in philosophical matters and given a spiritual foundation right from their days in the Gurukul, which were residential schools where pupils lived with their guru. To ensure that the young princes did not forget these basics once they were seated on the throne, the ruling king and his ministers would often invite scholars and experts for annual philosophical discussions. Much like modern-day conferences, Dhananand, who also hosted such events in his court, thought that they were a waste of time. But because this was a practice started by his ancestors, he had to maintain the tradition.
Dhananand, the evil king of Magad, right?
Yes! Once, during such an event with many scholars who had come to present new ideas, Dhananand was absent. Without the king, the discussions could not begin. The prime minister in Dhananand's court was Amatya Rakshas, a great scholar of the Vedas who was much respected for his knowledge and wisdom. He was the king's trusted advisor and the de facto ruler of his kingdom. Amatya Rakshas realized that Magad was in danger of losing its respect among the intellectual community owing to Dhananand's absence from the meeting. To prevent this from happening, he rushed to Dhananand's chamber and found him carousing with his dasis.
Who are dasis?
Dasis are female servants. Maharaj, the wise men and scholars await you in the court. Please accompany me as Magad needs his king. You can continue with your activities later, replied the ruler, Amatya Rakshas. Had anyone else said this to me, I would have had him executed. No one has the right to command the king. But as I admire you, I will come. But once in the royal court, Dhananand began losing interest in the discussions and even started to ridicule the scholars. Acharya Chanakya, who was also seated among the wise men, could not take it anymore. He decided to leave. Dhananand saw him walking out and felt insulted. Asking the gatekeepers to stop Chanakya, he demanded, "If you had to leave like this, why did you come at all?" Chanakya replied in a firm voice, "I came here to see if Magad had kept the lamp of knowledge burning, and if together we could destroy Alexander's imminent attack. But I have realized my error and don't want to waste more time here." Furious, Dhananand thundered, "Throw this man out of my kingdom!"
Dhananand is so bad.
The guards grabbed Chanakya's shikha, top knot, undoing it in the process, and threw him out of the court. The shikha of a Brahmin is symbolic in nature. It represents his devotion to his guru, God, and the scriptures, and is freshly tied every day after the morning prayers. And so, regarding this as the ultimate insult, Chanakya took his deadly oath. I will not tie this shikha until the day I remove you from the throne of Magad. Until that time, Chanakya was only a teacher without power, position, or an army under his command. And he had taken an oath to dethrone one of the most powerful kings in the country.
Wow, Chanakya is really courageous.
Yeah, imagine challenging an evil, powerful king in a court when you are just a teacher. Let's continue. But simply taking an oath is not enough. One must work towards fulfilling it, and so Chanakya would look at his shikha and remind himself of his vow every day. And eventually, he created history by dethroning Dhananand and crowning Chandragupta as the Emperor of India, thus marking the beginning of the Maurya dynasty. The end. Insights. No Chanakya story is complete without it. Even the corrupt acknowledge a steadfast man. Dhananand did not respect anyone but Amatya Rakshas. The latter was a loyal, able minister, and the dissolute king was compelled to respect him for his wisdom and commitment. Surround yourself with wise men. If even kings need to confer with wise men, then we too can benefit from the same practice. Commit yourself to the words you speak. Chanakya looked at his shikha daily as a reminder of his oath, but he also worked to see his words come true indeed. So, Agastya, what are your personal takeaways from the story?
Well, be surrounded with good people and always try to keep your promise.
That's true.
But guys, what do you think? Please tell us.
For more wonderful stories like this, we will see you in our next video. Bye!